The betrayal burns in my mind as if it happened yesterday, not in another lifetime. My own stepbrother stole Luna from me, claimed her as a stray he'd found, and my life ended searching for her. Now, I'm reborn into a second chance I never asked for, yet desperately needed. I died 5 years ago, but I remember everything. The frantic way my heart pounded against my ribs as I called Luna's name into the storm. The way rain plastered my hair to my face, blinding me as I stumbled through puddles that soaked through my sneakers. The metallic taste of blood when I bit my lip after slipping on wet pavement. And then, white light. Searing pain, nothingness. Lightning, they told my family. A tragic accident? I woke up in a hospital 19 years earlier, in a different body. Same consciousness, new vessel. A cosmic joke or divine intervention. I've stopped questioning why. What matters is that I'm here, and so is Cameron, and so is Luna. I run my fingers over the adoption paperwork, savoring the crisp texture of the forms beneath my fingertips. The clock on the shelter wall reads 2:17 p.m. He'll be here soon. Mia, did you clean out Kennel 6 yet? My supervisor Denise calls from the front desk. Almost done, I reply, though I haven't started. I can't focus on anything but the impending confrontation. My stomach knots as I imagine his face, older now than when I knew him in my past life, but surely still wearing that self-satisfied smirk. The familiar jingle of the bell above the door sends a jolt through me. I peek around the corner, and there he is, Cameron Weathers, my former stepbrother, stepping into Paws and Claws Animal Shelter like he owns the place. The jangling of his expensive car keys echoes through the reception area as he tosses them from hand to hand. That sound. I remember it from before. He'd jingle them when he was lying, a nervous tell he never recognized. I freeze, heart hammering. He looks different, more polished in his tailored suit, with streaks of gray at his temples that weren't there in my previous life. But his eyes remain the same, calculating, cold, always assessing angles and advantages. Welcome to Paws and Claws, Denise greets him warmly. How can we help you today? Cameron flashes his perfect white teeth. I'm here about adopting a specific dog I saw on your website. The golden retriever mix, I believe her name is Luna. My blood runs cold at the sound of Luna's name on his lips. I clutch the edge of the counter to steady myself, the rough laminate digging into my palms. Luna, my Luna. The same dog he stole from me in my past life by claiming she was a stray he'd found. The same dog I died searching for. Luna is one of our special cases, Denise explains. She's been with us about 3 weeks. Found wandering near Highway 16. Just like last time. History repeating itself with cruel precision. I step forward before I can stop myself. I can help with that, I say, my voice steadier than I feel. I've been working with Luna specifically. Cameron barely glances my way. In this life, I'm just a shelter worker with a different face, different name, invisible to someone like him. Perfect, he says, still addressing Denise. My girlfriend's birthday is coming up, and she's absolutely in love with golden retrievers. When I saw Luna on your website, I knew she'd be perfect. That's so thoughtful, Denise beams. Mia will get you started on the paperwork. I lead Cameron to our small interview room, the scent of disinfectant burning my nostrils as we sit across from each other at the plastic table. 5 years of waiting for this moment, and now my palms are slick with sweat. I slide the adoption forms toward him, careful not to let our fingers touch. So you've worked with Luna personally? Cameron asks, filling out the form with practiced penmanship. Yes, I say, forcing a smile. She's special, very intuitive, almost like she can sense things about people. He chuckles. Sounds perfect for Instagram. My girlfriend has quite the following, over 1 million followers. Luna will be a star. My jaw clenches. Our adoption process is quite thorough. We want to ensure all our animals go to forever homes where they'll be loved for themselves, not just as accessories. Cameron waves his hand dismissively. Of course. But let's be real. Everyone wins when a shelter dog goes viral, right? Raises awareness, donations flow in. I'm sure your little operation could use the publicity. I want to scream that Luna is mine, that he stole her once before, that I died because of his selfishness. Instead, I force another smile. We do appreciate visibility, but our primary concern is always the animal's welfare. Right, he says, clearly uninterested. Now, how quickly can we move this along? My girlfriend's birthday is next weekend, and I'd like to surprise her. Our process typically takes 1 to 2 weeks. We need to verify your information, conduct a home visit. A home visit. Cameron interrupts, eyebrows raised. Is that really necessary? I live in Lakeview Estates. Surely you've heard of it. The exclusive gated community where he lived. Still lives, apparently, in my past life. Where he took Luna after claiming she was a stray he'd found. It's standard procedure, I say firmly, for all adoptions. He sighs dramatically but continues filling out the forms. Fine, whatever hoops you need me to jump through. Just make sure no one else adopts that dog before I complete your process. Luna will still be here, I assure him, the lie bitter on my tongue. If I have anything to do with it, Luna will never set foot in his house again. As he completes the paperwork, Cameron chatters about his girlfriend Vanessa, how they met at a charity gala, how she's an influencer partnering with major brands. The details wash over me until he mentions, actually, she's been looking for a feel-good angle for her upcoming sponsored content. Adopting a shelter dog checks all the boxes, heartwarming, relatable, and visual. Her engagement will skyrocket. My fingers tremble as I realize the full scope of his intentions. Luna isn't just a gift. She's a prop. My mouth goes dry. Pets are a lifelong commitment, I say, not marketing tools. Cameron laughs, the sound grating against my nerves. Everyone uses their pets for social media these days. Don't be so dramatic. He hands me the completed forms with a flourish. There you go, all done. When can I expect to hear back? We'll call you to schedule the home visit in the next few days, I say mechanically. Great, make it soon. He stands, towering over me. By the way, you look familiar. Have we met before? For a heart-stopping moment, I wonder if he's recognized something in me, some essence that transcended my physical rebirth. But his eyes show only casual curiosity. I don't think so, I murmur. Must have one of those faces. He shrugs and turns to leave, keys jangling in his pocket. Looking forward to bringing Luna home soon. The door closes behind him, and I slump into my chair, my entire body shaking. The clock on the wall reads 2:53 p.m. Less than an hour has passed, yet everything has changed. History is trying to repeat itself, but this time, I'm in position to intervene. I look down at Cameron's application, his arrogant signature sprawled across the bottom line. The form should go into our filing system, should be processed according to protocol. Instead, my fingers close around it, folding it carefully before slipping it into my pocket. My first quiet act of resistance. Luna pads up to me from the kennel area where she's allowed to roam freely during working hours. She places her golden head on my knee, brown eyes gazing up with the same soulful expression I remember from my past life. I scratch behind her ears, exactly where she's always loved it. He won't take you from me again, I whisper, my voice breaking. I promise. Luna whines softly, as if she understands every word. Perhaps she does. Perhaps some bonds transcend death itself. The crisp autumn air nips at my face as I pull into the circular driveway of Cameron's mansion. The home visit was scheduled for today, and despite my initial plan to simply reject his application outright, Denise insisted I conduct the inspection personally. Our most experienced adoption counselor should handle our most prominent potential adopter, she'd said, completely unaware of our tangled history. I park my decade-old Honda beside a gleaming black Range Rover. The contrast couldn't be more stark. My modest vehicle looks like it belongs to the help, which, I suppose, is exactly what Cameron would consider me. My knock on the imposing front door echoes through the entryway beyond. I clutch my clipboard tightly, the plastic edge digging into my palm. Deep breaths. Professional face. I've practiced this moment for days. The door swings open and my carefully constructed composure nearly shatters. Hi, you must be from the shelter. I'm Vanessa. My former best friend stands before me, radiant in designer loungewear, her smile blinding. The cloying scent of her perfume, white diamonds, the same fragrance she wore in my past life, envelops me like a suffocating cloud. My stomach lurches as memories cascade through my mind. Sleepovers, shared secrets, tearful confessions, all betrayed when she started dating Cameron barely 2 months after my funeral. I'm Mia, I manage, extending my hand, from paws and claws. So nice to meet you. She pulls me into an unexpected hug and I stiffen. Come in, come in. I've been so excited about this home visit. I've already ordered the cutest little dog bed from Italy, and a designer has drawn up plans for a custom playhouse in the backyard. I follow her through the marble foyer, noting details on my clipboard while fighting waves of deja vu. The layout is similar to Cameron's parents' home from my past life, the one where they lived while our parents were briefly married, but grander, more ostentatious. Evidence of his success in this timeline. Cameron should be joining us shortly. He's just finishing up a call, Vanessa explains, leading me to a sunlit living room with pristine white furniture. Can I get you something to drink? Water, coffee, champagne? She laughs at her own joke. Water is fine, thank you. I need to keep my wits about me. While Vanessa disappears into the kitchen, I take stock of the living space. Immaculate, magazine-worthy, and completely impractical for a dog. Glass coffee tables with sharp corners, white rugs that would show every muddy paw print. No sign of pet-friendly accommodations despite her claims of ordered beds and playhouses. Here you go! Vanessa returns with a crystal glass of water. So, tell me about Luna. Cameron says she's absolutely gorgeous. She's a special dog, I say carefully. Very loyal, very intelligent. Sensitive, too. She bonds deeply with her people and needs stability. That's so sweet, Vanessa coos, but her eyes drift to her phone as it buzzes with notifications. She checks it quickly. Sorry, work never stops in my field. I'm an influencer. Lifestyle, fashion, travel. Ever heard of Vanessa Vibes? I shake my head, though in truth I've stalked her accounts thoroughly in preparation for today. Well, I have over 1 million followers across platforms, she continues, preening slightly. And I've been wanting to branch into the pet influencer space. There's so much untapped potential there. Brand deals with luxury pet suppliers, pet food sponsorships, matching human and pet fashion lines. My pencil presses so hard against my clipboard that the tip breaks. I casually reach for another. So Luna would be part of your content? Oh, absolutely. She'll be the star. Vanessa's face lights up with genuine enthusiasm. People go crazy for rescue stories, from shelter to silver spoon. That'll be our hashtag. I make several notes while keeping my expression neutral. And if Luna doesn't take to being photographed or featured in videos, some dogs find cameras and lights stressful. A flicker of annoyance crosses Vanessa's perfect features. Well, she'd need to adjust. It would be part of her job, in a sense. Her job, I repeat flatly. You know what I mean, Vanessa waves dismissively. But between us? She leans forward, lowering her voice conspiratorially. If she doesn't work out on camera, we can always rehome her and try another breed. My followers would never know the difference. The casual cruelty of her statement makes my blood run cold. I grip my pencil so tightly it nearly snaps again. Rehome her? Well, yes, Vanessa shrugs. That's the beauty of being an influencer. We control the narrative. One day I'm posting about loving my golden retriever, the next day it's a different dog. No one questions it because they only see what I want them to see. I struggle to keep my voice steady. Our adoption agreement specifically states that if you can no longer care for the animal, it must be returned to our shelter. Rehoming privately is a breach of contract. Vanessa laughs, the sound like tinkling glass. Oh, I'm sure we could work something out if it came to that. Cameron has connections everywhere. Before I can respond, heavy footsteps announce Cameron's arrival. He strides into the room in a tailored suit, phone still in hand. Sorry to keep you waiting, he says, not sounding sorry at all. His eyes barely register my presence as he drops a kiss on Vanessa's cheek. How's the inspection going? We were just chatting about Luna, Vanessa says brightly. I was telling Mia about all my plans for our new fur baby. Great, great, Cameron says distractedly, finally looking my way. Everything in order? We've got plenty of space, obviously. Money's no object for pet care. I still need to see the yard and discuss your daily schedules, I say professionally. Dogs, especially those with Luna's energy level, need consistent routine and exercise. Of course. Cameron gestures vaguely. Vanessa, why don't you show her the backyard? I need to make one more call. As Vanessa leads me through the house to the back doors, she continues chattering about her content plans. The sprawling backyard is as immaculate as the house. Manicured lawns, sculptural hedges, and not a single toy or sign of dog friendliness. We'll have the pool fenced, of course, Vanessa says, noticing my gaze. And that area over there is where the doghouse will go. It's being custom built to match our home's architecture. I make notes, the rough texture of my notebook beneath my fingertips grounding me as I devise my plan. Every word they've spoken has confirmed my suspicions. Luna would be nothing but a temporary accessory to them. Back inside, Cameron rejoins us, looking impatient. So, are we good? When can we pick up Luna? The home visit is just one part of our adoption process, I explain. I'll need to submit my report, and then our committee reviews all applications. Committee? Cameron frowns. I thought this was just a formality. We take adoptions very seriously, I say, especially for special cases like Luna. Listen, Cameron steps closer, lowering his voice. I understand you have protocols, but surely we can expedite things. I'm prepared to make a generous donation to your shelter. He names a figure that makes my eyes widen despite myself. That's very generous, I acknowledge, but our process remains the same for everyone. Does it? His smile doesn't reach his eyes. Because I'd hate to think my donation might go to another shelter that's more accommodating. The threat hangs in the air between us. I know how desperately the shelter needs funds. We're always operating on a shoestring budget, and a donation of that size could fund renovations we've been postponing for years. I'll make sure your application receives prompt attention, I say carefully. That's all I ask. Cameron's smile broadens. And speaking of attention, Vanessa mentioned her plans for featuring Luna in her content. Think of the exposure for your shelter. Donations would pour in once people see a success story like ours. It would be incredible publicity, Vanessa agrees eagerly. I nod, pretending to make a positive note on my clipboard while actually documenting their unsuitable attitudes and expectations. The rough paper catches against my calloused fingertips, hands that have cleaned countless kennels, administered medications, and comforted scared animals. Hands so different from their manicured perfection. One last question, I say. What attracted you specifically to Luna rather than any other golden retriever? Cameron and Vanessa exchange a quick glance that raises my suspicions immediately. She has the perfect look, Vanessa says. That soulful expression will photograph beautifully. And she's already been vetted by your shelter, Cameron adds. Saves us the trouble of health screenings and initial training. Neither mentions love, companionship, or commitment. Neither speaks of Luna as a living being with needs and feelings. In their eyes, she's already a commodity. I see, is all I say, closing my notebook with finality. Well, I think I have everything I need for now. You'll hear from us within the week. Wonderful, Vanessa claps her hands. I can't wait to start planning her welcome home party. I'm thinking golden hour as the theme. As they walk me to the door, Cameron casually mentions, by the way, we're considering breeding her eventually. Golden doodles are trendy right now, and with Vanessa's platform, we could command top dollar for the puppies. My step falters. Luna is already spayed. I lie smoothly. She isn't, but she would be before leaving our shelter, standard procedure. It's our policy for all adoptions. What? Cameron's facade cracks slightly. That wasn't mentioned on her profile. It's standard practice, I repeat, for the health of the animal and to prevent unwanted litters. Cameron's jaw tightens, but he quickly recovers. Well, no matter, she'll still make a perfect addition to our family. As I walk to my car, I hear Vanessa whisper, does this mean we need to find a different dog? The breeding plan was... We'll discuss it later, Cameron cuts her off, his voice sharp. I drive away with my heart pounding, hands gripping the steering wheel so tightly my knuckles turn white. Their casual cruelty, their transparent intentions. It's all the confirmation I needed. Back at the shelter, I bypass the normal application processing and go straight to my locker. From my bag, I pull out a small recording device. Nothing fancy, just a voice memo app on an old iPod I keep for exactly this purpose. I'd started it before entering their home, capturing every damning word. And I transfer the audio to my personal laptop, carefully labeling and timestamping the most revealing moments. Then I type up my official home visit report, detailing every concern in professional, objective language. The unsecured pool, the lack of dog-appropriate spaces, the stated intention to rehome if Luna didn't perform well for cameras, the breeding plans. "How'd it go?" Denise asks, popping her head into the small staff room. "They have a beautiful home," I say neutrally. "And? Will they make good adopters?" I hesitate, choosing my words carefully. I've documented some concerns in my report. Their expectations may not align with our adoption guidelines. Denise frowns. "Cameron Weathers is a prominent community member, Mia, and he mentioned making a significant donation." "I understand, but just make sure your concerns are substantiated," she interrupts. "We can't afford to alienate potential major donors without good reason." After she leaves, I sit alone in the dim staff room, Luna's head resting on my foot under the table. The weight of responsibility presses on me from all sides. In my previous life, I was too trusting, too easily manipulated. Cameron had convinced everyone that Luna was a stray he'd found, and no one questioned him. Least of all me, desperate to believe my stepbrother wouldn't deliberately hurt me. Not this time. I reach down to stroke Luna's soft fur, feeling her steady heartbeat beneath my palm. "I won't let them take you," I promise again. "Not in this lifetime." Luna looks up at me with trusting eyes, and I make my decision. I'll use the system against them, just as Cameron manipulated the system in my previous life. My fingers fly across the keyboard as I draft an email to the shelter's board of directors, attaching both my official report and the damning audio recording. The subject line reads, "Urgent concern, high-profile adoption case requires board review." My finger hovers over the send button for just a moment before pressing down with quiet determination. The subtle click is barely audible, but to me, it sounds like a thunderclap. My first true counter move in a game that began in another lifetime. The metallic scent of coins seems to fill the air as I round the corner and freeze at the sound of familiar voices. "Finest donation we've received this year, Mr. Weathers," Denise gushes. "The timing couldn't be better with our renovation campaign." "Happy to help," Cameron replies smoothly. I've always had a soft spot for animals. In fact, I was hoping we might be able to finalize Luna's adoption today. My girlfriend's birthday is this weekend, and I'd love to surprise her. I press myself against the wall, heart hammering. Through the crack in the door, I can see Denise accepting a check, her eyes widening at the amount. "This is incredibly generous," she breathes. "I'm sure we can expedite things. Let me just check where we are in the process." My blood runs cold. After everything I documented, after the evidence I provided, he's still trying to buy his way to Luna, and worse, it might be working. I slip away before they can spot me, rushing back to the kennels where Luna waits. She perks up at the sight of me, tail wagging trustingly. I drop to my knees beside her, burying my face in her golden fur. "I won't let them win," I whisper fiercely. "Mia?" Denise's voice calls. "Are you back here? I need to speak with you." I stand quickly, composing myself. "Coming!" In the small conference room, Denise sits across from me, Cameron's check placed prominently on the table between us. "Mr. Weathers has made an extremely generous donation," she begins, tapping the check. "He's also very eager to complete Luna's adoption process." "I submitted my home visit report yesterday," I say carefully, along with some concerns to the board. Denise's smile tightens. "Yes, I've seen it. While I appreciate your thoroughness, I think perhaps you've been a bit overzealous in your assessment. They explicitly stated they would rehome Luna if she didn't perform well for social media," I insist. "And they planned to breed her for profit." "People say things they don't mean all the time," Denise waves dismissively. "Mr. Weathers has assured me they're committed to providing Luna with an excellent home." "And you believe him? Just like that?" "Mia," Denise leans forward, lowering her voice. "The shelter is struggling financially. This donation could fund our entire medical program for a year. Sometimes we need to see the bigger picture." Panic rises in my throat. "So we're selling Luna? Is that it?" "Of course not." Denise looks genuinely offended. But when a qualified adopter also happens to be a generous donor, we can certainly prioritize their application. What about the board review I requested? Denise shifts uncomfortably. I've spoken with the chairperson. Given Mr. Weathers' standing in the community and the urgency of his request, they're inclined to approve the adoption pending resolution of your concerns. Resolution, I echo hollowly. Mr. Weathers has requested to speak with you directly. He's waiting in my office now. She stands, clearly expecting me to follow. Be professional, Mia. Remember who signs your paycheck. The threat is thinly veiled. I follow her woodenly, mind racing through options that all seem to lead to defeat. If I refuse to cooperate, I'll lose my job and, with it, any chance of protecting Luna. If I agree, I betray Luna and myself all over again. Cameron rises as we enter, extending his hand with practiced charm. Mia, thank you for meeting with me. I understand you have some reservations about our adoption application. I shake his hand briefly, my skin crawling at the contact. I have legitimate concerns based on statements made during the home visit. That's exactly what I wanted to discuss, he says smoothly. I believe there may have been some misunderstandings. Denise excuses herself, leaving us alone. The moment the door closes, Cameron's friendly facade drops slightly. Look, he says, voice hardening, I'm not sure what your issue is, but I want that dog. Name your price. I stare at him, momentarily stunned by his brazenness. Excuse me. Everyone has a price, he continues, misinterpreting my shock. Shelter workers aren't exactly rolling in cash. 10,000, 20, name it. You think I'm blocking your application for money? I ask incredulously. Why else would you be making things difficult? He shrugs. You filled out the paperwork yourself. We meet all the official criteria. Great home, fenced yard, financial stability. Except for the part where your girlfriend explicitly stated she'd rehome Luna if she didn't photograph well, I counter, or your plans to breed her against shelter policy. Cameron's eyes narrow. You're recording this conversation, aren't you? My silence confirms his suspicion. His lips curl into a smirk. Smart girl, but here's what you don't understand. He leans closer. That recording won't matter, neither will your report. Because at the end of the day, money talks. Your little shelter needs donors like me far more than it needs rule-following employees like you. Why Luna? I demand, my voice shaking despite my efforts to remain calm. There are dozens of golden retrievers in shelters across the city. Why her specifically? Something flickers across his face. Recognition, perhaps, or guilt. But it's gone so quickly I might have imagined it. She's perfect for what we need, he says carefully. The right age, the right temperament, the right look. And contrary to what you might believe, we will provide her with an excellent life. As a prop for Instagram photos? As a beloved pet who also happens to have a platform, he counters. Do you have any idea how much good we could do with that visibility? We're planning a whole charitable campaign around pet adoption awareness. This is new information and suspicious timing. That wasn't mentioned during the home visit. Because it wasn't finalized yet, he says smoothly. But since you're so concerned about Luna's welfare, I wanted you to know the full picture. He pulls out his phone, showing me a sleek presentation. We're launching Paws for the Cause next month. Luna would be the face of it. 10% of Vanessa's sponsored content featuring Luna will go to animal charities. 10%, I repeat flatly. That's potentially thousands of dollars, he argues. Far more than this shelter would get from another adopter. Plus, think of the exposure. More adoptions, more donations. Everyone wins. I study him carefully. And the breeding plans? He has the grace to look slightly abashed. An idea we've abandoned, given your shelter's policies? Luna will be spayed before coming home with us. Everything he's saying sounds reasonable on the surface. A casual observer might even think him generous. But I've lived through his betrayal before. I know the manipulative patterns, the way he twists situations to his advantage. I need to think about this, I say finally. Don't think too long, he advises, standing to leave. The board meets tomorrow to review my application. And Mia? His voice drops to a near whisper. I always get what I want, one way or another. After he leaves, I sink into Denise's chair, trembling with suppressed rage and fear. He's outmaneuvering me again. The shelter needs money desperately. I know this better than anyone. The board will see Cameron's donation and charitable campaign as too valuable to pass up. I've sent them the evidence, but will it be enough? Will they listen to a junior staff member over a wealthy donor with community connections? Luna deserves better than to be a pawn in this twisted game. In my previous life, I lost her, and then my life, because I wasn't strong enough to stand against Cameron's manipulation. I won't make the same mistake twice. I pull out my phone, hesitating only briefly before dialing a number I've never used but memorized just in case. Williston Law Offices, a crisp voice answers. This is Mia Chen, I say, surprising myself with the steadiness in my voice. I need to speak with Mr. Williston regarding my grandmother's estate. My grandmother, not from this life but my previous one, had been a founding donor of Paws and Claws. I've done enough research to know that major donors sometimes retained special rights or positions within the organization they supported. It's a long shot, but right now, it's the only card I have left to play. Please hold, the receptionist says. As the hold music plays softly in my ear, I look out the window to the play yard where Luna is enjoying the afternoon sun, blissfully unaware of the battle being waged over her future. In this moment, I make a silent vow. History will not repeat itself. Not while I still draw breath in this second life I've been given. The line clicks and a deep voice answers. Miss Chen, this is Robert Williston. I understand you're inquiring about your grandmother's estate. I take a deep breath. Yes, specifically her connection to Paws and Claws Animal Shelter. Ah, he says, and I can hear the rustle of papers. Eleanor Chen was indeed one of our most valued clients and a passionate supporter of that shelter. May I ask what prompted this inquiry? I need to know if she retained any special rights or positions within the organization. I explain. It's urgent. There's a situation developing that I believe she would have wanted me to address. There's a long pause. Miss Chen, are you aware that your grandmother's will included a provision for you regarding the shelter? We've been attempting to contact you since you turned 21 last month. My heart skips a beat. What kind of provision? Perhaps you should come to my office, he suggests. This is a matter best discussed in person. I check the clock. I can be there in 30 minutes. As I hang up, a strange calm settles over me. Whatever happens next, I know I'm finally taking control of my destiny, and Luna's, in a way I couldn't in my previous life. I quickly type an email to the board requesting that no final decision be made on Luna's adoption until after tomorrow morning, citing new relevant information. Then, I grab my keys and head for the door, pausing only to press a kiss to Luna's head. I'll be back, I promise her. And this time, we're both going to get the happy ending we deserve. The musty smell of old legal documents fills my nostrils as Mr. Williston places a thick folder on his desk. The office is exactly what you'd expect from a high-end law firm, all dark wood, leather chairs, and an air of quiet authority. I sit uncomfortably on the edge of my seat, trying not to fidget. Miss Chen, he begins, adjusting his glasses. Your grandmother, Eleanor Chen, was not just a donor to Paws and Claws Animal Shelter. She was one of its founding members. My pulse quickens. This I knew from my research, but hearing it confirmed makes it real. When the shelter was established 25 years ago, he continues, it was structured as a nonprofit with a unique governance model. The founding donors each received a permanent seat on the board, transferable to their descendants. He slides a document toward me, pointing to a highlighted section. Upon Eleanor's passing 5 years ago, her board position was held in trust until you reached the age of 21, which happened last month. I stare at the document, barely comprehending the implications. Are you saying I'm a board member of Paws and Claws? Not just a board member, Mr. Williston clarifies. As one of only 3 founding family representatives still involved with the shelter, you hold a significant voting stake. Essentially, you have veto power over major decisions, including management appointments, and, of course, special adoption cases. The room seems to spin around me. Why wasn't I informed of this sooner? We've sent several notifications to your registered address, he says apologetically. When we received no response, we assumed you weren't interested in taking up the position. Your mother informed us you were focused on your education. My mother, Not the woman who raised me in my past life, but this life's mother. Always collecting my mail, managing my affairs. Of course, she'd hidden this from me, thinking it a burden rather than the gift it truly is. I'm very interested, I say firmly, sitting straighter. In fact, there's an urgent matter requiring my attention in this capacity. Mr. Williston nods. The Weathers adoption application. Yes, I received a call from the shelter director this morning. You know about that? The firm serves as legal counsel for the shelter, he explains. Major donations and high-profile adoptions typically require our review. Mr. Weathers has been quite insistent about expediting the process. I lean forward. I have serious concerns about this adoption. I conducted the home visit personally and documented numerous red flags. I also have audio recordings of conversations that clearly demonstrate their unsuitability as adopters. His eyebrows rise slightly. That sounds rather troubling. Have you shared this with the board? I tried, but I'm afraid the donation Mr. Weathers offered may be influencing their judgment. Mr. Williston's expression turns grave. That would constitute a serious ethical breach of the shelter's adoption protocols. He checks his watch. The board meeting to review this case is scheduled for tomorrow at 9. As a board member, you have every right to be present and to present your evidence. Relief washes over me. So I can stop this? You can certainly ensure that proper protocols are followed, he says carefully. Miss Chen, may I ask why this particular case is so important to you? I hesitate, unable to explain about past lives and cosmic second chances. The dog in question reminds me of one I once loved very much. And I believe Mr. Weathers has ulterior motives for wanting her specifically. He studies me for a moment, then nods. I understand. Here's what we'll do. He outlines a plan for tomorrow's meeting. How I should present my evidence, the bylaws I can cite, the questions I should ask. By the time I leave his office, clutching a folder of legal documents proving my position, the sun has begun to set. I drive back to the shelter in a daze, the reality of my situation slowly sinking in. Not only do I work at the shelter where Luna has ended up, but I actually have the authority to protect her. It's almost too perfect, as if the universe is finally balancing the scales of justice. When I arrive, most of the staff have gone home, but Denise is still there, looking harried. Where have you been? She demands. Mr. Weathers called 3 times asking about Luna. I had an important meeting, I reply calmly, regarding my position on the shelter's board. Denise's mouth falls open. What are you talking about? My grandmother was Eleanor Chen, I explain, watching realization dawn on her face. Her position passed to me when I turned 21 last month. Eleanor Chen's granddaughter, she whispers, suddenly looking at me very differently. Why didn't you say anything? I only just found out myself, I admit. But now that I have, I'll be attending tomorrow's board meeting regarding the Weathers adoption case. Denise pales visibly. Mia, about that, I may have been hasty in dismissing your concerns. If you truly felt the home wasn't suitable, we'll discuss it all tomorrow. I cut her off, suddenly tired of the politics. For now, I'd like to spend some time with Luna before heading home. She nods quickly, clearly recalibrating her approach to me. Of course, take all the time you need. You have the keys to lock up. After she leaves, I find Luna in her kennel and bring her to the small staff lounge. She curls up at my feet as I review the documents Mr. Williston provided, preparing for tomorrow's confrontation. Things are finally going our way, girl, I murmur, scratching behind her ears. The next morning, I arrive early, dressed in the most professional outfit I own. A simple black blazer over a blue blouse, dark jeans the best substitute I have for proper slacks. The sharp tap of my borrowed heels against the linoleum floor announces my arrival as I enter the conference room where the board meeting will be held. Several people are already seated around the large table. Denise, a few board members I recognize from shelter events, and Mr. Williston, who nods reassuringly at me. I take the empty seat he's saved beside him, arranging my notes and evidence carefully. At precisely 9 o'clock, the board chairperson, Dr. Rivera, calls the meeting to order. Before we address the agenda items, I understand we have a new board member joining us today. Miss Chen, would you like to introduce yourself? All eyes turn to me. I take a steadying breath. Thank you, Dr. Rivera. I'm Mia Chen, granddaughter of Eleanor Chen. I've actually been working at the shelter for the past year as an adoption counselor, but I only recently learned of my grandmother's bequest and my position on this board. Murmurs of surprise ripple around the table. Well, this is certainly unexpected, Dr. Rivera says, but fortuitous, as I understand you have direct involvement with the Weathers adoption case we're reviewing today. Yes, I conducted the home visit personally and have substantial concerns about their suitability as adopters. Dr. Rivera nods. We'll get to that shortly. First, let's welcome our guests for this discussion. On cue, the conference room door opens and Cameron strides in, Vanessa trailing behind him. They've come dressed to impress. He in a tailored suit that probably costs more than my monthly salary. She in a chic dress that would look at home on a magazine cover. Both carry gift bags emblazoned with the shelter's logo, which they distribute to each board member. Just a small token of appreciation for the important work you all do, Cameron explains smoothly, placing an especially large gift bag in front of Dr. Rivera. I notice he's brought one for me too, clearly not recognizing me as the adoption counselor from yesterday in my more formal attire. When he places it before me with a practiced smile, our eyes meet briefly. There's a flicker of something, confusion perhaps, before he moves on. Mr. Weathers, Miss Blake, thank you for joining us, Dr. Rivera says. We're reviewing your application to adopt Luna, the golden retriever mix currently in our care. We're very excited about welcoming Luna into our family, Vanessa gushes. We've already prepared everything for her arrival. Yes, and as you know, we've made a substantial donation to support your wonderful work, Cameron adds. We're also planning a charitable campaign featuring Luna that will bring even more awareness and funding to animal rescue efforts. Several board members nod approvingly. I clench my jaw, waiting for my moment. Before we make our decision, Dr. Rivera continues, I understand there are some concerns about the home visit assessment. Miss Chen, as you conducted the visit, would you care to elaborate? All eyes turn to me again. Cameron and Vanessa finally look my way properly, and I watch as recognition dawns on both their faces. Cameron's confident smile falters slightly, while Vanessa looks simply confused. Wait, Cameron interrupts. Isn't she just a shelter worker? Why is she at the board meeting? Miss Chen is Eleanor Chen's granddaughter and has recently taken up her position on our board, Dr. Rivera explains. As she also conducted your home visit, her perspective is particularly valuable in this case. Cameron's face drains of color, the first sign that he's losing control of the situation. The realization emboldens me. During my visit to the Weathers residence, I begin calmly. I observed and documented several concerning factors regarding their suitability as adopters. I distribute copies of my detailed report to each board member. Most significantly, Miss Blake explicitly stated that if Luna didn't perform well for social media content, they would rehome her and try another breed. Direct quote. Vanessa gasps. That was a private conversation. I was just thinking out loud. Additionally, I continue, ignoring her outburst, Mr. Weathers expressed interest in breeding Luna for profit, specifically mentioning trendy mixed breeds. When informed that all our animals are spayed or neutered before adoption, he appeared visibly disappointed. That's a mischaracterization, Cameron interjects, recovering his composure. We were simply discussing options before understanding your policies. Most concerning, I press on, is that neither Mr. Weathers nor Miss Blake demonstrated any real attachment to Luna as an individual animal. Their interest appears to be solely in her marketability for social media content and her potential profitability. These are serious allegations, Dr. Rivera says gravely. Do you have any evidence beyond your personal observations? This is the moment I've been waiting for. I do. I pull out my laptop. With the board's permission, I'd like to play several audio clips recorded during the home visit. Cameron stands abruptly. That's illegal. You can't record conversations without consent in this state. Mr. Williston clears his throat. Actually, Mr. Weathers, our adoption agreement clearly states that home visits may be documented, including audio and video recording. Miss Chen was well within her rights. Cameron sits back down slowly, jaw clenched. I can see him reassessing, calculating his next move. Whether or not the recording was legal, he says carefully, I think the board should consider the larger picture. Our donation and planned campaign would benefit countless animals, not just Luna. Are you suggesting, I ask pointedly, that the shelter should prioritize financial considerations over the welfare of the animals in our care? The room falls silent. Several board members shift uncomfortably in their seats. Of course not, Cameron backpedals. I'm simply pointing out that we can provide Luna with an exceptional life while also helping other animals. Perhaps we should hear the recordings before making any judgments, Dr. Rivera suggests. I play the most damning excerpts. Vanessa casually discussing rehoming Luna if she doesn't photograph well, Cameron's breeding plans, their explicit discussion of using Luna as a marketing tool rather than treating her as a family member. When the recording ends, no one speaks for several seconds. Vanessa looks mortified, while Cameron's expression has hardened into something cold and calculating. Those comments were taken out of context, he finally says. We were nervous during the home visit and perhaps spoke carelessly, but our intentions are good. We would never actually rehome Luna capriciously. Mr. Weathers, I say quietly, looking directly into his eyes. Why this dog specifically? Of all the golden retrievers and shelters across the city, why are you so fixated on Luna? Something flickers across his face. Recognition, perhaps? Does some part of him remember my past life, remember Luna? Is that why he sought her out again? As I explained before, she has the perfect look and temperament for our needs, he replies smoothly. Your needs, I repeat, not hers. Dr. Rivera clears her throat. I think we have sufficient information to make our decision. Mr. Weathers, Miss Blake, would you mind stepping outside while the board deliberates? As they stand to leave, Cameron pauses beside my chair. You look familiar, he says quietly. Have we met before? Before the home visit, I mean. I meet his gaze steadily, perhaps in another life. Confusion crosses his features before he follows Vanessa out of the room. The moment the door closes, discussion erupts among the board members. The recording is concerning, one member admits, but the donation. Another counters. We can't sell our animals to the highest bidder, a third argues. I let them debate, watching as the tide gradually turns against Cameron's application. When Dr. Rivera finally calls for a vote, the result is unanimous. Application denied. Miss Chen, Dr. Rivera says, since you've been Luna's primary caretaker, would you like to inform Mr. Weathers and Miss Blake of our decision? I nod, a sense of justice filling me. Yes, I would. As Cameron and Vanessa re-enter the room, their confident smiles tell me they're expecting approval. They don't yet understand that all their money and influence have failed them. After careful consideration, I announce, standing to face them, the board has unanimously decided to deny your application to adopt Luna. Cameron's smile freezes. What? The evidence clearly demonstrates that your home would not be suitable for her needs, and that your intentions do not align with our mission of finding permanent, loving homes for our animals. This is absurd, Cameron sputters, looking around the table for support and finding none. I demand to speak with whoever's in charge. You are speaking with the board, Dr. Rivera says firmly, and our decision is final. Is this because of her? Cameron points accusingly at me. Who is she really? There's something familiar about her. Miss Chen is a valued board member and shelter employee whose assessment we trust implicitly. Dr. Rivera interrupts. Mr. Weathers, we appreciate your interest in adoption and would be happy to refund your donation if you feel it was made conditionally. Cameron's face reddens with anger. Keep the money. Consider it a consolation prize for what you've lost today. Come on, Vanessa. As they storm toward the door, Cameron pauses for one last barb. You'll regret crossing me, all of you, especially you, he adds, glaring at me. After they leave, there's a collective exhale around the table. Well, Dr. Rivera says, that was certainly dramatic. Miss Chen, thank you for your diligence in this case. It's clear we made the right decision. The meeting adjourns shortly after, with several members stopping to introduce themselves to me more formally. When the room finally empties, I remain seated, processing what just happened. Luna is safe. The cycle is broken. For the first time since I awakened in this new life, I feel like I'm exactly where I'm meant to be. But Cameron's parting threat lingers in my mind. I know him well enough across 2 lifetimes to know he doesn't accept defeat gracefully. This victory feels significant, but incomplete. Something tells me our battle isn't over yet. The harsh camera lights flood the shelter's modest lobby, transforming our everyday space into something alien and theatrical. Local news crews bustle about, adjusting equipment and testing microphones. Despite my explicit objection, Cameron has managed to arrange media coverage for what was supposed to be his triumphant moment, adopting Luna under the guise of a charitable PR campaign. "Are you sure we should go through with this?" Denise whispers, watching the chaos unfold. "We could just tell them the adoption fell through." I shake my head. He's forcing our hand. If we back out now, he'll spin it to make the shelter look bad. Better to control the narrative ourselves. In the week since the board meeting, Cameron has been relentless. First came legal threats, baseless claims of discrimination and defamation. When those gained no traction, he pivoted to a PR offensive, announcing his Pause for the Cause campaign with Luna as the centerpiece, complete with this media event he arranged without our consent. Mr. Williston assures me we're on solid legal ground in refusing the adoption, but Cameron's publicity machine has painted him and Vanessa as animal-loving philanthropists being unfairly denied by bureaucratic shelter policies. "5 minutes, everyone," calls the news producer, a harried woman with a clipboard. "Mr. Weathers and Miss Blake have arrived. We'll begin as soon as they're mic'd up." I straighten my blazer, a new one, purchased specially for today, and feel the reassuring weight of my phone in my pocket, loaded with evidence. Beside me, Luna sits calmly, seemingly unaware of the significance of today's events. The shelter doors swing open, and Cameron and Vanessa make their entrance, all dazzling smiles and camera-ready outfits. Vanessa clutches a designer dog carrier embossed with Luna's name in gold lettering. Cameron carries a ceremonial oversized check made out to the shelter. "There she is!" Vanessa exclaims, spotting Luna. She rushes over, kneeling in her expensive dress to pet her. "Our beautiful girl!" Cameron approaches me with a cold smile. "Didn't expect to see me again so soon, did you?" "Actually, I did," I reply quietly. "You've never been one to accept defeat gracefully." Defeat? His smile doesn't waver. "This is just a temporary setback. After today's broadcast, public pressure will force your board to reverse its decision." He leans closer, dropping his voice. "I told you I always get what I want." "Not this time," I say with more confidence than I feel. The producer claps her hands. "All right, everyone in position. We're live in 30 seconds. As the cameras roll, the reporter, a polished woman with a practiced smile, introduces the segment. "We're here at Paws and Claws Animal Shelter, where local entrepreneur Cameron Weathers and social media influencer Vanessa Blake are launching their new charitable initiative, Paws for the Cause, while adopting a special shelter dog named Luna." Cameron steps forward, all charm and benevolence. "We're thrilled to be partnering with Paws and Claws for this important cause. Every animal deserves a loving home, and through our platform, we hope to inspire others to adopt rather than shop." "And Luna will be the face of your campaign," the reporter prompts. "Absolutely," Vanessa chimes in, coaxing Luna toward her for the cameras. "We fell in love with her the moment we saw her profile. It was meant to be." The reporter turns to me. "And Miss Chen, as a representative of the shelter, how does it feel to see one of your rescues going to such a high-profile home?" This is my opening. I take a deep breath. "Actually, Luna will not be going home with Mr. Weathers and Miss Blake today," I say clearly. "Their adoption application has been denied." The reporter's professional mask slips for a moment, revealing genuine surprise. "Denied? But I understood this event was to celebrate the adoption?" "Mr. Weathers organized this media coverage without our consent," I explain calmly. "And while we appreciate his donation, our priority must always be the welfare of our animals." Cameron's expression darkens. "This is absurd. We've been working with the shelter for weeks to arrange this adoption." "Perhaps you'd like to share with viewers why your application was denied?" I suggest innocently. "There's been a misunderstanding," he says through gritted teeth. "One that we're working to resolve." "No misunderstanding, Mr. Weathers. The board's decision was unanimous." The reporter, sensing a juicier story than expected, presses on. "Can you explain the reasons for the denial?" Our adoption process is confidential. I begin diplomatically. But in general terms, we look for homes where pets will be valued as family members, not used primarily for commercial purposes. That's a slanderous implication, Cameron interjects hotly. We would provide Luna with an exceptional home. Would you? I ask, pulling out my phone. Perhaps we should let the public decide. With your permission, I address the reporter. I'd like to play something relevant to this discussion. Before Cameron can object, I play the clearest excerpt. Vanessa's casual comment about rehoming Luna if she doesn't photograph well, followed by Cameron's breeding plans. Shocked gasps emanate from the shelter volunteers and staff gathered around the edges of the room. The reporter's eyes widen as she realizes the story has just taken an unexpected turn. That recording was obtained illegally, Cameron sputters, but the damage is done. The cameras have captured every word, and the microphones have picked up the damning audio. All home visits are documented as part of our standard procedure. I clarify for the benefit of the cameras. This is clearly outlined in our adoption application, which Mr. Weathers signed. Vanessa has gone pale, her eyes darting between the cameras still rolling and her phone, which I now notice is streaming the entire exchange to her followers. A gentle ping of notifications grows steadily louder as comments flood in, the sound liberating years of my pent-up anger with each electronic chirp. Cut the cameras, Cameron demands, but the news crew, sensing ratings gold, ignore him. Mr. Weathers, would you like to respond to these recordings? The reporter asks, microphone thrust toward his face. This is a setup, he insists. That woman has a vendetta against me. A vendetta? The reporter repeats. Do you two know each other? No, he says quickly, too quickly. But there's something familiar about her. I think she's related to someone I once knew. Miss Chen? The reporter turns to me. Mr. Weathers and I have never met prior to his adoption application. I state truthfully. In this life, at least. Though I understand he may have known a distant relative of mine who passed away some years ago. I was named in her honor. Cameron stares at me intently, confusion evident in his features. What was her name? He demands. Your relative? Mia Chen, I say, watching recognition flash across his face. She died 5 years ago, struck by lightning while searching for her lost dog. The color drains from his face. That's impossible, he whispers. You can't be. I'm not, I interrupt smoothly. As I said, I was named in her honor. But I find it interesting that you remember her, Mr. Weathers. According to my family, she was looking for a golden retriever, very similar to Luna when she died. Strange coincidence, isn't it? Murmurs ripple through the crowd. The reporter, sensing there's more to this story than a simple adoption dispute, presses on. Mr. Weathers, did you know Miss Chen's relative? Cameron's composure is crumbling visibly. This is ridiculous. We came here to launch a charitable campaign and adopt a dog, not to be ambushed with false accusations and ghost stories. Ghost stories? The reporter echoes, latching onto his poor choice of words. Can you elaborate? Figure of speech, he snaps. This entire situation is absurd. Come on, Vanessa, we're leaving. But Vanessa isn't listening. She's staring at her phone in horror. Cameron, she hisses. My live stream. It's still going, and the comments... I catch a glimpse of her screen. Thousands of viewers, the comment section scrolling too fast to read, but the sentiment clear: outrage, disappointment, accusations of animal exploitation. Turn it off, Cameron growls, reaching for her phone. Don't touch me, she shrieks, the first genuine emotion I've seen from her. This is going to destroy my brand, all my sponsorships. Their unified front crumbles as they turn on each other, forgetting the cameras still recording their meltdown. This is your fault, Vanessa accuses. You said this would be good publicity. Me? You're the one who couldn't keep your mouth shut about rehoming if the dog didn't work out. Cameron fires back. I was just being honest, and you're the one who wanted to breed her. Enough, Cameron shouts, finally noticing the cameras still trained on them. This interview is over. He grabs Vanessa's arm, pulling her toward the exit. She wrenches away, tears streaming down her face. Don't touch me. I'm done, Cameron. This relationship, this campaign, all of it. I'm done. As they storm out separately, the shelter erupts in shocked whispers. The reporter turns to me, microphone extended. Miss Chen, would you care to comment on what just happened? I kneel beside Luna, drawing strength from her warm presence. This unfortunate incident demonstrates exactly why our adoption process is so thorough. Pets are family members, not accessories or marketing tools. At Paws and Claws, we'll always prioritize finding homes where animals will be loved for themselves, not for what they can provide to their owners. The reporter nods. And what happens to Luna now? I smile, scratching behind Luna's ears exactly where she likes it. Luna will remain with us until the right forever home comes along, one where she'll be cherished for exactly who she is. After the cameras stop rolling and the news crew packs up, Denise approaches me, eyes wide. "That was intense," she says, "but brilliant. You handled it perfectly." "Thanks," I reply, suddenly exhausted. I just hope it's over now. But as I check my phone, I see it's far from over. The confrontation has already gone viral, with clips spreading across social media platforms. Hashtags like #JusticeForLuna and #ShelterHero are trending. The shelter's donation page has crashed from sudden traffic, and buried in my notifications is an email from Cameron. "This isn't over." I delete it without responding. Let him threaten all he wants. For the first time in 2 lifetimes, I feel truly powerful. Not because I humiliated him publicly, though that was admittedly satisfying, but because I finally stood up for what was right, for Luna and for myself. As I lock up the shelter that night, Luna padding faithfully by my side, I realize that breaking the cycle of the past requires more than just knowledge of what happened before. It requires courage to act differently, to stand firm when it would be easier to yield. In my previous life, I trusted too easily and lost everything. In this one, I'm learning that sometimes justice requires you to fight for it, openly and without apology. 3 weeks after the media spectacle, the dust has finally begun to settle. The viral confrontation has brought unprecedented attention to Paws and Claws. Donations have quadrupled, adoption applications are flooding in, and we've even had to hire additional staff to handle the increased interest. Luna remains with us, though not for lack of adoption offers. After her television debut, we received dozens of applications specifically for her. But none felt right. None felt like home. I'm sorting through the day's paperwork when Denise appears in my office doorway. I have an actual office now, a perk of my newly acknowledged board position. "Someone here to see you," she says, her expression unreadable. "Cameron Weathers?" My stomach tightens. "Send him away." "He's been waiting for hours," she says. "Says he won't leave until he speaks with you." I sigh, setting down my pen. "Fine, send him in." Cameron enters a moment later, and I'm struck by how different he looks from the polished, confident man who stormed our shelter weeks ago. His clothes, while still expensive, appear slightly rumpled. The scuff of his now less polished shoes betrays his fallen status as he walks across my office floor. "Thank you for seeing me," he says, remaining standing when I don't offer him a seat. "What do you want, Cameron? More legal threats? Another PR stunt?" He shakes his head. "I came to apologize." I raise an eyebrow, skeptical. "Really?" "The past few weeks have been enlightening," he continues. "After our confrontation went viral, I've lost business partners, sponsorship deals, social connections." He laughs bitterly. Amazing how quickly people distance themselves when the tide turns. "Am I supposed to feel sorry for you?" "No," he admits. "I deserve it. But I've had time to reflect, and I realize now how wrong my approach was." "Your approach," I repeat, "not your intentions." He shifts uncomfortably. "Those two. I was thinking of Luna as an asset, not a living being with needs and feelings. It was wrong." I study him, searching for signs of deception. The tremor in his voice seems almost convincing. "I'd like to make amends," he continues, reaching into his jacket. He pulls out a check and places it on my desk. A donation to the shelter, no strings attached, no publicity, no expectations. I glance at the amount, substantially larger than his previous offer, and feel a flicker of suspicion. "Why?" "Consider it penance," he says. "And perhaps a second chance? Not at adopting Luna," he adds quickly, seeing my expression, "but at supporting the shelter's work in a genuine way." "A second chance," I echo, the irony not lost on me. "Yes. People can change, Mia. I know I've given you no reason to believe that, but it's true." Something in his demeanor has shifted. There's a humility that seems foreign to the Cameron I knew across 2 lifetimes. Your viral moment cost me everything, he continues quietly. Vanessa left me. My business partners pulled out of deals. My reputation is in tatters, but maybe that's what I needed, to lose everything to see what really matters. I'm about to respond when my office door opens again, revealing an unexpected visitor, Vanessa, her eyes red-rimmed from crying. The salt of her tears hangs in the air between us as she enters hesitantly. "I'm sorry to interrupt," she says, her voice hoarse. "I saw Cameron's car outside and followed him in. I've been trying to reach you for days, Mia." "We're in the middle of something," Cameron says stiffly. "This can't wait," Vanessa insists. She turns to me, tears welling again. "I need to explain something to you, to both of you." "What is it?" I ask cautiously. "After everything blew up, I started looking into your family history," she says. "The coincidence of your name, the way you seem to know things about Cameron." I tense, prepared for accusations. "And I found an obituary for Mia Chen from 5 years ago," she continues, "with a photograph." She pulls out her phone, bringing up an image I never expected to see again. My face from my previous life, smiling out from a memorial website. "At first, I thought it was just an eerie resemblance," Vanessa says. "But then I remembered something. Cameron had a stepsister named Mia years ago, when our parents were briefly married. They had a falling out over a dog he claimed was a stray he found. Cameron's face has gone ashen. Vanessa, stop." "No," she insists, tears flowing freely. "Now, I need to say this. I dated Cameron after Mia died. He never told me how he got that golden retriever he had, just that he found it. I never knew it was hers. I never knew she died looking for it, if I had known." The revelation hangs in the air, shifting the dynamic in the room. Cameron looks physically ill, unable to meet my eyes. "Is that true?" I ask him quietly. "You never told Vanessa what you did?" "I didn't," he begins, then stops, his shoulders slumping. "Yes, it's true. I claimed Mia's dog was a stray I found. We argued about it, then she died in that storm, looking for the dog." The admission, after all this time, hits me with unexpected force. Memories from my past life surge through me. The frantic searching, the rain, the desperation, the lightning strike. "I never meant for her to get hurt," he whispers. "It was just supposed to be a prank. A way to get back at her for, I don't even remember what. Something stupid. When she died, I couldn't admit what I'd done. I couldn't face it." "And Luna?" I ask, my voice barely audible. "Is that why you wanted her specifically? Because she reminded you of the dog you stole, eh?" He nods miserably. "At first, I told myself it was just a coincidence, that I was drawn to her because she looked like Mia's dog. But deep down, I think I was trying to rewrite history, to give the dog a good home this time, to make amends somehow. By using her as a social media prop? I can't keep the bitterness from my voice. I told myself it was different this time," he admits, "that I was doing something good, something charitable. But really, I was just trying to ease my own guilt while still getting what I wanted." Vanessa steps forward. When I realized the connection, I couldn't stay silent. I didn't know in the previous. I would never have dated him if I'd known what he did to his stepsister. To you. Or your relative. She's confused by her own words, struggling to make sense of the impossible coincidence I represent. "I'm so sorry," she continues, tears still falling. "For everything. For not asking more questions back then. For being so focused on my image that I never thought about what was right." I look between them. Cameron broken by the weight of his guilt finally exposed. Vanessa devastated by her unwitting complicity. Part of me, the part that still remembers dying alone in a storm while desperately searching for my beloved pet, wants to revel in their pain. But another part, perhaps the wiser soul I've become in this second chance, feels only a deep weariness. "What do you want from me?" I ask them both. "Forgiveness," Cameron says simply. "Not for my sake, but for yours. So you can move forward without carrying this anger." "And the donation?" I gesture to the check still lying on my desk. "Is genuine," he insists. "Use it however the shelter needs. No conditions, no publicity. Just a small step toward making amends. I pick up the check, considering. The amount could fund our medical program for years, could save countless animals. But accepting it feels uncomfortably like absolution. And Luna, I ask, though I already know the answer. She belongs with you, Cameron says quietly. She always did. I see that now.